We live, champ.
So what's going on, man? What's happening?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I moved outside tonight. Uh, it's California. It's dark, but it's still okay. We got some pretty good people in tonight. We got John Scully. He'll be coming in. He's down there in Florida. I think down where you close to where you're going or something. He's in the bubble.
Yeah,
So
he's in the bubble.
yeah, and then we have Lamon Brewster. He'll be coming on, and I think you had confirmed Regis for 6:30 or nine
Absolutely,
thirty your time.
absolutely. Regis Prograis, who had a great
Yeah.
victory this Saturday on the undercard of Javante Davis, Santa Cruz, Leo. That is.
Well, just to let everybody know, we did try to get Calvin Ford, Devontae's trainer, on, but
Yes.
he's taking some time off. We'll
Right.
try to get him on as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And just of course, there is some news. I'm going to get Scully on here. What did you think about Deontay's remarks concerning Fury? Because it seems like Fury is ready to move on. Fury got that money, with or without Deontay. It does, he can go, like you say, he got a country behind him. You go over there and fill up Wembley Stadium.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I mean, that bubble that we in, it done changed a lot of things. The best got to fight the best now, and if you are contracted to fight your mandatory, it might not happen. And that's the case. That's what we having right now in the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder. I think the contract done overlapped, and the time done ran out. So now Tyson Fury is able to move on and do what he want to do.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of seem like that, man. So once again, when you start talking about the best fighting the best, we're going to see how that works out because there's a couple of things that I want to talk about a little later. That after we probably doing the end just before K9's corner.
Yeah,
Scully, are you there?
Yes, sir. How
Scully.
you doing?
I'm doing fine. K9, can you hear Scully?
Yeah, I can hear him. Tell him speak up though. Tell him he got a bite. Arrgh.
All
Like
right,
real
y'all there?
K9.
So, Scully, is this your first time in the bubble?
Yeah. This is the first one. It's not the most fun I've ever had in my life. Tell you that much.
So what happens? Because K9, you're flying down to Florida. So what happens? You get off the plane, and I mean, they bum rush you and throw you with a mask and stuff on. How's it go?
They picked us up. The driver was real cool. He said, "Look, I'll stop off at the store, put on your mask. You go in, and if you want to get some food for the room, bring your stuff in the room." And then when we got here to the casino, they brought us in through a back entrance. And before we went upstairs, the lady she said, "Look, if you want, I'll have security bring you over to the food court. You can order something from there, hot food, and get that." So we went, we got chicken sandwiches or whatever. But then they put us in the room and they sealed the room. Like they put a sticker over the door. You open it, they'll know you opened it. And have a guy sitting out in the hallway at a desk. And you're not coming out until they come get you. So you have to quarantine for 2 days. So I'll be free tomorrow afternoon to go with my guy to work out. So I'll be able to train him tomorrow.
So did you have to present some type of paperwork to prove that you had been tested before you got there, or?
They have you tested. Like I did the test for them about 4 days ago. They send the test in the mail. Then they watch you over Zoom, and you have to do it in front of them. You have to take the test, you put it back in the envelope, and then you send it out overnight. And then the next day they give you the result. But then when we get here, they have to do a test on it also.
Well, can I? You getting ready to run down in there? You got some questions about the bubble?
Hey, hey, listen, the bubble that kind of remind me of that song that I don't know what rapper he came out with. He was I'm locked up, they won't let me out. So hey, um, I'm used to that. I was on that reality show called The Contender, right? So I feel like I was in a bubble. They stripped us of everything. You know what I'm saying? They took our phones. They took everything that had any name on it other than our own name. So and I was around a bunch of dudes. So I was very, very upset not being around my family. Couldn't talk to nobody but them. So I understand what he's going through. But that was like 10 years ago. So I don't want to understand it now. But I think that it's a little different where I'm about to ready to go. It's not, it's not going to be as strict. I think yours is a lot stricter because it's like on a bigger platform. And I think what are y'all fighting on, the zone, the top rank or something? John, I can't hear him. I can't hear you, John.
He
I
says,
was saying we're fighting an undercard fight. I think the main event is the zone, but I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of those cards, like with like ESPN and Showtime, is very 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 strict. I mean, I even saw that they even had like some tape on the door of the hotel to make sure they would know if y'all left out or not. So it's not that
Yeah, they
strict.
take the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what Scully's saying.
Yeah,
They take this door. His door is taped. Yo,
absolutely. So it's a little stricter, you know what I mean? And you gotta do what you gotta do to get your money. We in different days. But in a few hours we're gonna have a whole different president, hopefully. Or so it's a lot of things that's different now, and you just gotta go with the flow. Hey, John, you say something else after that or no?
Do it for 2 weeks, but these few days aren't going to bother me at all. I said.
Yeah, yeah. Just like I say, think about it. I had to go through it for a whole month. So a few days, oh man, y'all will be okay. You'll be all right. You just gotta go with the flow. You know how they say in boxing, styles make fights. Well, it's the same thing outside the ring. You know what I'm saying? You gotta adapt to it. Like over here in Detroit, I have to adapt from summertime to fall to wintertime. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do though. Us as human beings, we ready for whatever, and you just gotta be ready for whatever. You know the game. You John Scully,
oh,
baby. Huh?
Yeah.
oh,
Iceman,
oh,
baby.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, Scully. I know you got that plate of crow ready because I remember the last time that we talked, and we were talking about Louis Santa Cruz. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nah, he put on a heck of a show, man. He was so he imposed himself. Like it was very apparent from the first minute that he was imposing himself, and he was big. He looked like a very he looked big, and you could see like Lomachenko he never had anyone that was successful in just being establishing themselves, and the jab, especially the jab. I think Teofimo's jab was super. It's very strong, and he fought up. He fought especially in the first half. He fought perfect.
What did you think about Louis Santa Cruz and Gravante?
Yeah, I mean, hey, that kid. Anybody who didn't believe in him, he made a strong case the other day. He looked very good. That shot was beautiful, this actually is both of those fights and the results are very, very, very good for boxing. It injects some life into it, and at that weight class, all of a sudden it's just a tremendous weight class. With a lot of question marks and a lot of potential good fights. So yeah, I think these last couple of weeks have been great for boxing.
Yeah, I mean, that whole card, you had Regis. He had a great knockout on his performance. And now, as you say, Scully, they're talking about it. Lopez and Davis. Davis says he's gonna keep 130 and 135. Do you think that's wise? When you look at it, 130. I'm not sure how many times, how much more he's going to be able to make that, John.
I mean, the thing is, you can't defend two titles, So that right there, and I'll tell you what, like I don't want to take away from his victory, but I am not happy. I'm sick. I am sick of these sanctioning bodies and their, sanctioning two titles for one fight. I mean, these are like new levels of stupidity and insanity. It's just, they're just further ruining the legacy and the history of championships. 50 years from now, you're not even going to be able to explain to anyone how these guys were five-time champions, but they only had 4 fights. To get to it, they won 4 fights and won 5 titles. And I'm just not a fan. I despise these sanctioning bodies and what they're doing. I despise them. I wish they would all die. I wish they would just the government would come in.
Hey, that was a low blow. Hey, Floyd said I think he cussed the WBC in him out. He said, "Man, there's just too many belts. There's too many champions, too many belts."
I mean, they're making up a belt for Roy. Look, Roy's my friend. I love Roy. I love Tyson. But the WBC is making up a belt for their fight. I don't even know the name of it. They're calling it something. The something belt. And it's like these guys are just like vultures. They're just waiting for a fight to come so they can make up a new belt. And it's gotten to be where if I didn't know it was happening, if I didn't really know, if somebody just told me it was happening, I would say, no, you're not accurate. You're not really understanding what they're doing. But I know what they're doing, and it's insane how many championships they're literally making up belts, and I mean literally making up belts as they go. It's bizarre. I don't know what their end game is. I don't know why they're doing this. I can't see how. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like how laughable it is. I just don't understand what this, especially the WBC and the WBA. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm not a fan of it at all, and I will never, ever be a fan of it. Ever.
Well, wasn't that supposed to be an exhibition between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones? Now it's, Mike Tyson is talking about this Abel and Roy and all this. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds more like 2 rappers getting in there than 2 legends.
Yeah. Hey, but it's a real fight. Even though they call it an exhibition, Mike Tyson don't know how to fight exhibitions. Mike Tyson don't know how to spar. He is trying to kill you. When he get in that ring with you, you lunch meat to him. So, with Mike Tyson get in the ring, huh?
So how's that fair to Roy? I mean, Roy ain't gonna put on another 60 pounds, another 35 pounds.
Yeah. Even if he did, he's not a natural heavyweight. Roy Jones at his best was at 175, 168. You carry 40, 50, 60 more pounds, that's going to slow you down. And we all know, John, James, that Roy's best aspects was his speed. That extra weight, the turtle was already moving slow. He ain't going to move no faster with extra weight. Come on, man. If a cheetah gained extra weight, how fast would a cheetah move? Exactly, that fast.
Even like Holyfield, you could trust Holyfield, to say,
Yeah.
all right, Evander, this is for, it's for fun. We're gonna hang out,
Yeah.
we're unbox a little bit, we land some punches, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
You can't really do that with Mike. You
Oh,
can't tell him not to go hard. You can't
that,
tell him this is for fun.
that's
And
right. That's right.
especially if Roy takes him, if Roy stings him. Because the fact is,
Yeah.
I mean, he's smaller, but I mean, Roy, you get a guy Roy's size, he catches a heavyweight. with a good shot, he can sting him. It's not like he can't hurt him.
Right.
So he stings Mike. All bets are off. Everything's going to go out the window. And you may see a guy just lose it in the ring. Especially imagine if Roy was still sharp. Imagine if Roy got into a groove and started dropping his hands and playing his little game, having fun. Mike's not going to see it like that, and it's going to turn into something crazy. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll be curious to see who the referee's going to be, and who's going to control this.
Hey, anytime a man has ate another man's ear or bit another man's ear in a ring, you cannot trust him in the ring.
That's a sign.
I like Mike, but Mike bit and chewed and ate Holyfield's ear off.
Yeah, he didn't just bite it; he bit it off.
He bit it off and did a
Yeah.
commercial about it.
All you needed was George Foreman on the side, and it would have been. You could have threw it on the grill.
Absolutely.
Oh,
So
but
I'm trying to figure this one out though. Are they actually going to drug test these guys? Is this an exhibition? Because Mike Tyson's smoking plenty blunts. So how are they going to do about what they going to do about that? You know what I mean? John, what they going to do, John? Jay.
The whole thing, it's almost like, it's like nobody knows. It's unregulated,
Yeah.
and I think in a situation like this, they're not going to want to cancel it. So
Yeah.
they're probably going to let some stuff slide in
Yeah.
the back row. They're going to let certain things go. So I don't know. This is I wouldn't want to be the guy overseeing this, trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, in these days, man, it's all about names. It's all about who got the most followers. You don't have to be a great fighter, as long as you got a lot of followers, they'll put you on. Conor McGregor had 1,000,000 followers in the UFC, and he was able to fight. He was able to fight Floyd Mayweather and make $1 million. $100 million. His very first fight. You got Paul Logan. Paul Logan has a name. You know what I'm saying? He's a YouTuber. He fought his first fight and made millions, and had millions that ordered the fight on the zone. So look at Nate. What's his name? Nate Robinson, the little basketball player for the fight on there. He ain't never had a boxing match in his life, not even an amateur fight, but he has a name. And he's about to make millions of dollars probably on that same card. So you ain't even got to know how to fight. All you gotta do is have people that'll buy the pay-per-view, and we putting you on.
But here's the thing, guys. Are they really making millions of dollars? I mean, I know when you look at this economy, the zone, was it the zone? They couldn't pay Canelo. Do you really think that they're going to pay Nate Jones millions of dollars? And Canelo's looking at, well, hey, man, you couldn't pay me. What's up with that? I mean, and then you look just look at the climate of what's happening. You had Lomachenko on ESPN.
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay. So, right there, that has to tell you now. So who's going to get the most money here? Tank off of Showtime pay-per-view, or are you talking about Lopez on ESPN? So somewhere there's got to be a meeting of the minds as well as the meeting of the money. What do you think, Scully?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't been following it, but I know, as I understand it, Mike and Roy are working on a percentage. They're supposed to get their purse, as I understand it, relies on a percentage of the gate, the pay-per-views or whatever. So that could be why Mike is saying he's going to do this and do that, and I don't know. I don't really get into the business end of things too much, so I really don't know. I'm not the guy to ask. I really don't follow the business end. Unless they're supposed to even. I don't know if there's a guarantee or what. I'm not really sure.
I know.
Go ahead, Ken.
No, I was just gonna say I know, that in the contract that Canelo has, he was guaranteed $365 million for, I believe, 8 fights. When you talk
Now,
about $365 million, and you talk about Nate Robinson getting paid $1 million or $2 million, that's a big difference from 365 million to 1 or 2 million. And Canelo has a guarantee that every time he fight, he gets, I think, 25 million per fight. And the zone was like, we're not coughing that up unless you fight somebody that's gonna draw some money or some attention or some followers or some subscribers.
so basically, I mean, so if I'm Canelo, I'm saying, well, look, unless you scrape mine up, we ain't, how you gonna give somebody else $1 million? That's money you could be giving me. That
Yeah,
you taking that, basically you taking food out of my mouth to pay Nate Robinson. I don't think so. I mean, that's just the business side. But uh, John, have we heard anything about Arthur? Are they opening up anything? Are they opening up the borders? Have you heard anything about what's going on?
As of now, no. I was actually so one of the fighters that I'm training is actually fighting in a couple weeks, but I'm not going to be able to go up there because Americans have to go, and then they have to quarantine for a full 14 days once they get there, and that means inside you don't come out for anything. And not even nothing, and the fine is it's something like 30 or 40,000. They're telling me. So I'm not going to be able to go up there. The kid actually that I'm working with here is from Canada, and I'm here because his team isn't going to be able to make it. Because if they come here, then they're going to have to quarantine as soon as they go back, and they can't do that because they have other fighters with fights coming up. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Arthur. I haven't heard anything different than what was told to me before about Americans traveling to Europe and Russia and places like that. So as of right now, to me, it's all up in the air. They don't know what's going to happen with him.
Were you impressed with, or did you get a chance to see Usyk fight?
I saw parts of it, and he had his difficulty early, but that's part of the game. You're fighting another guy. People made a lot of him like having some difficulty, and I'm saying, you're fighting a world class guy. And what do you think? Of course, you're supposed to have difficulty. I mean, you're fighting a professional fighter. That's what it's all about. It's overcoming the difficulty that's important. And he was able to do that. And I thought he looked, all in all, I thought he looked pretty good. He's obviously a talent. He's obviously, somebody to be reckoned with. And he's only going to get better at the weight. He's going to get adjusted. He's going to get confident. And so I think he's a good addition to the heavyweight division. I don't necessarily think I'm going to pick him over Fury, but it is a good addition.
Since you're talking about Fury, what did you think about Fury going back to England, supposedly fighting in December, but not Deontay Wilder?
I'll tell you what. Honestly, like with all that I've been reading over the last few days and videos that I've seen, I mean, I'm pretty much sick of Deontay Wilder. And if he never fights for a title again, it'll make me no difference. I mean, the way he's trying to, and the way he is dragging Mark Breland through the mud has gotten so ridiculous. It's almost like a kid, and he's blaming his friend for something, and it's obvious his friend is innocent, but he's blaming his friend, and everybody's looking at him like, you don't really think we believe you, do you? Like, you're really blaming him for that? We saw you do it. No, he's blaming, he's it's almost like he's making up stuff in his head about Mark, cheating him intentionally. And, I know Mark. Mark's a good dude, man. I just need to do all this stuff. I think, I don't know if he's having psychological issues. He can't cope with this defeat. It's messing with his head. I mean, he's in there quoting scriptures and, talking about the fight. And just I don't even care if he ever fights for another title. At this point with him, the way he's treating Mark Breland, I'm not on his side at all. So I don't care what happens with him.
Yeah, everybody that knows, boxing knows about Mark Breland. I think he's doing himself a disservice more than he is Mark. I mean, Mark could just as easily go back in retirement. I mean, he wasn't into the spotlight before Deontay. So I mean, I don't think that Mark is probably saying good riddance to that spotlight. That's not really his thing. Scully, now that things have kind of changed up a little bit, did you drive down or did you get on an airplane?
Oh no, I
flew. Okay. So they're talking about long lines again. They said they had like 1 million people going through airport at one time. What was that like?
I went through our security in 5 minutes.
Okay.
It was nothing. It was actually I didn't even think about it till you just said it. Like, it was so easy. It didn't even occur to me that I did it so easily. But yeah, it was. I don't. As I understand it, they might be more stringent. Getting people through, but by the same token, there's not as many people traveling. They don't want to get on those planes. But I got on the plane. I actually fell asleep before we even took off, and I didn't wake up till a couple minutes before we landed. So it was kind of uneventful for me. But it was definitely, security was not a problem at all.
Now I know some of I believe Southwest has announced that it's going to put people back in the middle seat. I believe starting December 1st. When you had a full plane, where there, I know you can't distance. I mean, what was kind of the thing when you got on the plane? Every other seat, or were you sitting next to somebody?
Nah,
or
I was sitting right next to a guy.
Okay.
I don't know if he was in the right seat, but yeah, I was. I mean, to be honest with you, I believe I was on JetBlue, and if I didn't know there was a pandemic going on, I wouldn't. From that flight, I wouldn't have noticed anything out of the ordinary. It seemed like just a normal flight, just like usual. Other than the fact that everyone was wearing masks, but other than that, it seemed like just a regular flight.
Oh, okay, all right. K9, you got some last minute things for Scully?
Oh man, Scully, hey, go out there and handle your business. I'm rooting for you. You and your fighter. Hey, go for the knockout. Knockout sell, as the great Emmanuel Stewart would say.
K9, he says, are you coming down? When are you coming down? When are you going down to Florida?
I'll go down to Florida Friday morning.
And you fight?
You're staying at the Hard Rock, I guess.
You know what? I don't. My manager Shawana, she knows all that. I don't know where. A lot of that stuff. I have to. Look on itinerary. They'll be coming to pick me up. You know how that go. You go to your fight. They pick you up from the airport, take you to the fight. After the fight, they take you back to the hotel. Then the next day, they take you to the airport. Then you back home in your bed, like you never left. Right. I can't hear him, James.
He said he's getting a rental car and going down to Miami Beach after his fight.
Tell him, Miami.
Who's your fighter, Scully?
It's the kid Arthur. It's hard to say his last name. He's got a Chechnyan last name. I can't really pronounce it.
Okay.
He was a Canadian Olympian. He's only had a handful of fights. Welterweight, good fighter, but he's an undercard fighter, a 6-round fight.
Okay.
And so we might be out there. He'll probably be one of the first few fights.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, I don't know I don't know what to tell you to enjoy the bubble or what, but you know, uh, I guess Do you say you'll be able to go out and
Yep,
get with your fighter tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be able to go to a workout room tomorrow and hold, do a workout, hit pads and stuff. Tomorrow afternoon. So that'll be it. We come back and just eat in the room and everything. So they do allow us to train together.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, thanks so much, Scully. If you want to give us the social media, any final words, K9, why don't you finish off with Scully, our guest?
Hey, John Skelly, what's up, brother? Hey, you looking good right here on this little picture right here, man, with these little pads on. So make sure you bring that W home. Bring that W home. Be safe and watch out, man, at Miami. Cause out there in Florida, I heard it's kind of pretty bad. It's a lot of COVID cases out there. So you make sure you be safe and bring home the W. If you got any social media, of course you do. We got this. We got it up right now on your Instagram right here. But any final words?
Any final thoughts, Scully? Hmm. You still there somewhere? Scully, you there? Well, we must have lost you, but yeah, uh, you guys going? So K9, you just going down Friday and fighting Saturday and coming back?
Absolutely. Yep. A rush back. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, come back. Well, I'll be back. I'll be back Sunday.
And they already sent you your tests and all that stuff, and you take it when you get there. How does
Yeah.
yours work different?
Well, I know we took a lot of tests and everything here at, like, I took the HIV. I took the HIV test. I took the the EKG, the MRI. I took some some everything, like the COVID test. I took the COVID test already. I took that test and I passed it. So I don't think we're gonna be going through those kind of strict tests. You know what I mean? Out down there. If you got COVID, that's one thing. I'm glad you're bringing this up because that's one thing I don't understand. If you don't already pass the COVID test, then why everybody that's in the arena, especially the fighters and the trainers, why do they have on masks? Ain't no sense of having on a mask if you've been training your fighter without a mask, but now for TV you go put a mask on. It don't really make no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, but you had okay. Now look at the guys that played in the football game Sunday night.
Yeah.
Okay, they played Sunday. They tested negative, right?
Okay.
Today, you got two guys. I think one guy from Kansas City tested positive. You got another guy I think it's another guy from Minnesota that tested positive. So just because I mean, it takes 13 or 14 days for it to come out. So you could be tested negative and still be carrying it because it's like the flu. It hasn't come up yet. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
just because you might test negative before the fight and test positive after the fight because
Yeah.
you didn't sweat it and all. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
guess it depends on a lot on your system. When I was younger and my system was a lot stronger, I probably didn't give a damn, about COVID and all that.
There you go.
I got a brother, that's like that. He believe in the conspiracy theories and stuff. So, he think about the vaccine and he not gonna wear a mask. So hopefully, before anything happened bad, I'll be able to get enough money to get an insurance policy out on his ass. But other than that, I'm cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
wear my mask. Do what you do your thing. I'm cool with it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Hey, I'm trying to live.
Yeah.
So yes, you know,
Right.
we can take insurance policies out on each other and see who collects. I'm good with that. Yeah. But
Hey,
anyway,
you a
so
smart
did
man.
you get Regis? What's up? I'm gonna grab Lamon too.
Yeah.
While
Let me call. Yeah.
we're
Let me see if I can
talking
get
here.
Regis real quick. Absolutely.
What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, big dog?
Hey, my man. We got the big man in the house. We got the heavyweight champ in the house. K9, you the one tell me that that they keep that belt forever. So I'm not gonna say former heavyweight. I'm gonna say heavyweight champ of the world, Mr. Lamon Brewster. How you doing tonight, boss? Where you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for asking, man. Somebody else just mentioned that. He said, I ain't going to say that you, he said, I ain't going to call you former. I'm going to say retired heavyweight champion of the world.
Okay. All right. All right. I, I'll say the knowledgeable brother. I was looking at some of the things that you were putting up this week. I appreciate it. Just wanted you to know we're not going to get into politics on this show, but just keep helping the younger generation. I really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you, my brother. They are future, man. They everything we hope tomorrow to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's talk about some of the things that's been going on. I had Scully on here a minute ago, and of course, he had picked Leo to go into the later rounds. And I don't, I, I don't think, even when I talked to K9, that there was anyone other than me that predicted that knockout. But what did you think about Gavante's performance against Leo?
Man, I thought it was beautiful. It's rare when you see somebody slip a right hand and throw a left uppercut. I mean, you'd have to go back to the era of the early 90s on back, man. That's when you would see people that could fight on the inside like that and take advantage of punches like that. Today, it just don't exist, so to speak, man. So just to see him, he's he's a freak of nature, man, and I love it, man. A lot of people has compared like his power, like in terms of his pound for pound power to the way that I used to punch, and it's a compliment. I think that as long as this young man keeps his head on the grind and don't come up for air, I think he's going to go a long way, man. I think he's exciting, and he's what boxing needs to keep the torch lit, especially in a time like this.
Well, now I give some when you talk about old school. I give his trainer a little credit for that, Calvin Ford, Layman.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you never have had a great racehorse without a great trainer, and so the two combined, man, it's like Voltron, they come together and they form something great, man. Good team, and I like everything that they're doing, and I just wish them much success.
So now, were you able to watch the Telefimo Lomachenko fight?
Yeah, I did, man. But at the end of the day, Lomachenko has had shoulder surgery, man, and I think that is the reason why he could not perform at the level that we're used to seeing him perform. So I think that a rematch is here's the thing, man. Losing a fight ain't a loss. I mean, you losing a setback is a setup because the thing of it is, when you lose, now you got room to grow. When you are a champion and you're undefeated, you really don't have a lot of room to grow because you don't know where you need to improve. But in this fight, man, I think that Lomachenko just need to heal from his surgery. Hopefully, he'll come back. And we can see the real Lomachenko because, and I ain't taking that away from his opponent, but that wasn't the Lomachenko that we've always seen in the past. That's where I'm standing.
Okay, now, and business-wise, this makes sense, Layman. Telefimo says, I'm moving on. I'm not giving Lomachenko a rematch. But But
That's a risk.
right, but well, wait a minute now, hold it now. There's another risk involved because, according to Bob Arum, let's put Telefimo and Gravante together.
Well, he better off fighting Lomachenko. Devontae, he's the truth, man. That dude is he's a raw monster like that, and he's so talented. His reflexes are so naturally gifted. I think that he's going to go down potentially as one of the greatest fighters in history if he can stay on the straight and narrow. That's my early prediction of him.
Okay, now you know he's a Floyd fighter. He goes through these ups and downs. As you remember, we saw him against who was that? The journeyman that he fought just a little while. So
Was he Puerto Rican or some Dominican? Real
yeah,
tough.
the Dominican. And he was on a bum leg, and Gravante had right.
You know, man, you're young, but as he continued to grow as a man, his mind and everything will tighten up. You know, it's like you know they say, man, every 10 years a man changes his mentality. And in boxing, as you continue to grow, if you can leave your ego out, then he'll continue to get better because his mind is going to settle down more. Like the bumps in the road is going to get smoother. He'll have easier navigation going around them.
Now, here's the thing that kind of worries me, Lamon. Now we saw Floyd go through this relationship with Adrian Broner, little brother. You know, I'm gonna make sure that you stay on this straight and narrow, and you know, so forth and so on. Adrian Broner got a big head and thought he was bigger than Floyd.
Because Adrian Broner, see, so what you're doing, you got to understand, Broner wanted to be Floyd. Broner wanted to fight like Floyd. He wanted to floss like Floyd. So I understand it's a clash of the egos at the end of the day, the vanity. But Gervonta, he don't have that. He's not trying to be Floyd. You know, he don't have his style. You know, he's a killer, man. He's a killer, and he's humble. You know, he's not trying to be Floyd. So you're not going to have that conflict of interest. People are going to fear Gervonta because of Gervonta's power.
Yes.
Floyd never had that kind of power. Gervonta got one hitter quitter power like me, and that's rare.
And like me. Share some of that.
We got. I got the other dog on here. Lamon K9. He said he got that one hitter quitter too.
Hey. Hey, Lamon. You know I got that one hitter quitter too, my dog. They used to call me One Punch. Hey James, where you at?
Yeah, he said you don't see that every day, K9. You might not. I can't do it with my headphones either. Sometimes they get in the way. But anyway,
Yeah.
K9's getting ready to fight this week, Layman. But
That's right. On the 7th, right?
Saturday.
right.
Yeah. I can't hear him, Jay.
He said, "How's your reflexes? How's your mind?" He said, he got his exhibition on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm good. I'm good, man. I don't think I missed too much of a beat. Yeah. I'm good. Tell them I'm 100. As they say, Gucci. I'm Gucci. Prada.
So, Layman, we were talking about this exhibition fight, whatever you want to call it, between Roy and Mike. Now, Scully was talking about one of these sanctioning bodies that made up a belt, for these guys. This is an exhibition. Floyd, Mike is probably about 30 pounds or more heavier than Roy. And he's talking about disabling Roy. Layman, this is an exhibition. You're fighting an exhibition Friday. Uh, what's up with this? I mean, is it an exhibition? Is it a fight? I mean, what is this?
Are you speaking in terms of Roy?
I'm speaking. Yeah.
Well, I see. It makes no sense to me what you just said whatsoever. How can you be fighting for a belt when neither one of you has fought since the Civil War? That's number one. Number two, neither one of you are ranked. And then number three, what the heck you need to fight for a belt for? Your name is the belt. Your name is the value, not a belt. To me, and listen, man, I'm on the outside looking in. It ain't none of my business. What is the value in fighting for a belt when you are both of you guys are former undisputed world champions that in your prime were the best fighters on the entire planet? Why now, 100 years later, would you fight for a belt when it's a sparring match?
Exactly. Facts.
I mean, that's what I asked. When is sense coming?
And I mean, do you really think, Mike, what as Scully was saying, what happens if Roy accidentally tags Mike?
Man, first of all, we all know what's going to happen as us being around boxing. First of all, champions, we fight because of our egos once we win titles. Your ego says, I am the best, and so I don't never want to be seen less than that. So then you have to take in consideration these two are the best, and there is no way on earth that either one of them are going to let the other one outshine them. And it ain't even about money at that point. It's the vanity. It's all about the ego. So what you're going to see is two gentlemen, in my opinion, and I hope that I'm wrong. You're going to see two gentlemen. They're going to go out there and they're going to put on a display of skills. But the first time somebody starts getting outshined, especially with a guy like Mike, with the power advantage, the weight advantage. Once if it gets to the point where Roy is outshining him, the thing that made Mike great was his power, but first it was his skill. But when he lost his skill, he still had the power. So when people was looking for the Mike was from the 80s and the 90s, they didn't understand. Mike didn't display the necessary skill that he used to. Mike was displaying the power, and that's what people saw. The young Mike didn't necessarily use the power until he got himself in a position to let his hands go. Whereas the Mike that we came to know in the late 90s, in the early 2000s was, okay, I'm Mike Tyson and I used to be great in terms of my skill, but I still have the power. But I know if I can intimidate you,
I can still knock you out. I can still make you weak at heart. And when I hit you, the punch is gonna sound. You're gonna think it's worse than it really is because I already psyched you out. And so, therefore, you really beat yourself because of the fear of what I did when I used my skill. But that's just me talking, man. And I think Evander really proved that Mike no longer has the skill that he used to have when he was in the 80s and in the 90s, and that's why fighting a guy like Holyfield, who knew that and knew that if he made Mike fight toe to toe and made Mike back up, then he knew that he could break Mike down mentally, because everybody can be beat on earth, and you have to figure out whether that's spiritually, whether that's mentally, or whether that's physically. And so what Mike used to do was try to intimidate people before he got in the ring, because they was already beat. You could already see. Look at Bruce Shelton. Bruce Shelton had as many muscles as Mike Tyson. You can go look at the tape. When Mike hit Bruce, when Mike threw the punch at Bruce Shelton, he didn't even hit him, and he fell down. And if you don't believe me, go look at it, man, and look at it in slow motion. He was psyched out. Now, here we talking about a guy who was heavyweight champion of the world, and he was undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, at the time when he fought Mike, when Mike came out of prison or whatnot. Man, Mike has beat people psychologically. You know what I mean? He got into their spirit. I mean, physically, no man can defeat you unless your mind tell you that you beat, you know. But when he fought a guy like Evander was so mentally strong and headstrong. He didn't care about size or muscles, even punching power. And he came to impose his will on Mike. And Mike couldn't even beat him. And same thing with Lennox. And anybody who really beat him when Mike still had a little bit in him. But then that's another thing. So Mike is in his 50s now. I mean, he's in his 50s now. So at the end of Mike's career, when Mike was still fighting, Mike was only good for 4 rounds at the most. Mike is 10, 15 years, 20 years past that. So how many more rounds how many more less rounds do you think he's going to be able to produce to be able to put on a show against a guy like Roy Jones? But then when we talk about Roy, here's a guy that probably has everything, but we know he don't have a chin. And so, again, when Mike Tyson starts getting embarrassed, if he starts getting embarrassed, I expect the beast to come out of Mike, because the only thing that made Mike what he is being a beast. Nobody came to see Mike box. People came to see him knock people out. And so at the end of the day, a guy 30 pounds less, a guy that Mike ain't got to reach up to, a guy that Mike ain't got to go find, how could he not be Mike Tyson? Mighty blow. How could he not turn into the person that people want to see in the midst of throwing punches? No man is going to throw a punch with millions of people watching, with millions of dollars on the line, and be like, oh, it's just a sparring event. No, man, that's insanity to think like that. Mike is going to show up and show out. And matter of fact, if it's what I heard, that they're not allowed to knock each other out, I don't know how true that is. I bet you that fight ended up getting stopped, because there's no way you're going to be able to control Mike. Because you remember how they used to say, oh, well, Mike was on this to keep him calm, and he takes this medicine, he takes that medicine. When them cameras is on Mike, and Mike know that the world is watching him, he's going to revert into Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Not Michael Tyson. He's going to come in as Michael Tyson, but the minute he starts fighting, he's going to become Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it.
You said a lot of things there, because, I haven't even heard whether or not they're going to be drug tested. So which Mike is going to come in the ring. But, this is something that I find very sad, Lamon, and I'm not sure, you might not want to comment on it, because I know, you're part of that heavyweight division, and that's a certain brotherhood. But when I look at the situation between Deontay Wilder and Mark Breland. First of all, I can understand why Deontay would be upset that Tyson Fury isn't going to fight him in December, but that's a different conversation. What I'm sad about is the way that Deontay has handled this first defeat. I think he's playing the blame game. He thinks he's the old Deontay that people like Mike Tyson. He's looking for that one punch. Mark Breland stayed with him for years and still wasn't able to teach him how to throw a jab. Not that he wasn't able to teach him how to throw a jab. It was something that Deontay just didn't embrace. But what do you think about the situation as far as uh, I think a champion should be able to handle defeat with the same grace that he handles that title? Is this something that you want to comment on, or is this a subject that you're too close to?
Well, man, I can only speak for my thoughts in terms of what I feel that I understand about the sport. I remember watching a fight where George Foreman was commentating. He said he just lost. Here's the time when he should be making every excuse in the world. He said, "This is where you call foul play. This is where you do this, you do that." And I was just like, wow, because it's like when you lose, it's like getting flushed down the toilet. You want to try to hang on to anything that will keep you from going under. And so, in a position that Deontay Wilder's in, I think that he feels a lot of shame. He feels some type of an embarrassment, and he's looking. And listen, I don't know. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm a fan of boxing first and foremost. I'm a lover of the sport. I believe that he is trying to find anything to justify why he lost the fight, and therefore that helps him to not look so bad at the end of the day. Like you heard him say about the weights that the thing that he wore into the ring, or that, like, now I'm hearing something about somebody spiking his water, and then like I heard something, I don't know if that was right. We was talking about Mark Breland had put something in his. I don't know how true any of that is, man. I don't know the full story. I wasn't there, but it hurt me because Mark Breland is one of the good guys of boxing, and I remember when I beat Vladimir Klitschko, it put a great cloud over me being the champion that I should have gotten. Like, I was very underrated because Vladimir Klitschko said I poisoned him. Vladimir Klitschko said that I had somebody to do this or do that. His corner man put Vaseline on his legs. I mean, just all these excuses. Now here Vladimir was this great champion, and he went on to be an even greater champion. But I didn't get my true just due because he was the favorite. He was the one that the whole world knew as this professional heavyweight, and him being a white man, being a European from the Ukraine, but they called him Russian. He had all the spotlight on him, but he took the spotlight from me and my hard effort by saying that it was foul play. Now, I can't compare the two, but I can compare the two because Tyson Fury won the fight. Tyson Fury already has a name for himself, but I was making a name for myself. But I understand the pain that Deontay Wilder feels, and I understand the pain that also Tyson Fury must feel if he did not cheat. Now I can't say whether he did or whether he didn't. I mean, yeah, you can make speculations about anything. Like we talk about the glove being a little soft and rubbery, and it showed during the fight. But you know, you can't even necessarily blame that on Tyson Fury because these cut men are so crafty. We don't know what they could have put on the glove to make it like that, man. There's all kind of leather stuff that make gloves look like, any kind of leather look like rubber at the end of the day. But we don't know what happened, man. I just hate that Deontay Wilder, out of everything, regardless of the claims that he's made, this is just me personally, and this ain't no knock on Wilder because I'm not in his shoes. I haven't talked to him. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's right. I don't know if he's wrong. But I just hate that he said the things, I guess, about Breland because Mark Breland is a good dude, and I don't know Breland personally to say if he did or if he didn't do anything like that. But all I'm saying is when you make them type of allegations, man, them are the type of things that they'll never forget 20 years from now. If this brother didn't do that, he's always going to have that, well, I heard this about him. And, man, at the end of the day, unless you can prove something, man, it's really in your best interest of your brother, because the Bible says love your brother, as your own self, to not say anything unless you can prove it. Don't just throw out allegations. And I'm not saying that's what he did, because again, I'm on the outside looking in. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the conversations. I don't know what transpired. But for him to say that, man, that makes the whole world look at Mark Breland, who everybody has always loved and adored as a champion. You never heard him loudmouth or out there trying to floss or anything. He's always been a humble, quiet guy, and it's a tough situation because I love Deontay Wilder. I love Mark Breland. I just hate that we have to hear these type of things that are going on between two great guys at the end of the day. And that's why I said earlier, a guy like Wilder, I think that he's in a place where his pride, he's hurt. He's hurt, and he's trying to pick up the pieces. He's trying to. I mean, he knows he could beat Tyson Fury if he could catch him, and that's just the whole thing. Styles make fights, but at the same time, the things that transpired during that fight, like I said, when I saw that blood in his ear, and like I told you earlier, whenever I've seen a guy, and you can go and look, show me a guy that's won a fight with a busted eardrum. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because I did in the amateurs. I have, but to the extent where he had blood coming out of his ear, man, like fighting a guy that's bigger than him, that's taller than him, that's coming at you, which we didn't expect. I mean, I just think that Tyson Fury, whether he put something in his glove or not, I think he fought the right fight to be able to beat a guy like Deontay Wilder. But that ain't to say that Wilder can't come back and win. I really just think that it's sad. It's sad, and it's a hard pill to swallow for all of us in the sport of boxing, because we have to give the benefit of the doubt, because our champion, our American world champion, Deontay Wilder, said that he believes this, and this is happening. So that's why that affected his fight. So we have to look at that, but it ain't that we want to look at it. Like, we don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe anything negative when it comes to when it comes to Mark Breland or anybody for that matter, man. I just, it's sad, but at the same time, I can't just be like, oh no, he ain't. I can't call him a liar because again, I wasn't there. So I have no fight in this I have no interest, if you will. I just hope that the truth can come out about whatever it is, and I hope that Deontay Wilder can prove us right by his what he does from this point on, not what happened, because that's gone. It'll never come back. So that's kind of where it's at. It's a hard one, man. It's really hard.
Well, now I got to bring K9 here on this because uh, we're talking about two trainers here, with impeccable, to me, impeccable reputations. You got Mark Breland, who's a boxing legend as far as I'm concerned. And then on the other side, you got Sugar Hill. Now, Sugar Hill, he comes from that Emmanuel Stewart tree. And K9, you've been trained by Sugar Hill. Now, like Lamon says, anything might be possible. But would you think that Sugar Hill would resort to some type of shenanigans? Tyson Fury was trained at some point in Krog's gym.
Yeah.
Krog is this also when he throws shade on Mark? Is he also throwing shade on the Krog legend?
I just think, that when you pay a trainer or you pay your team to do their job, the job has to be done. So when you go into the other corner or the other dressing room or your opponent, you got to make sure them gloves are on right. You got to make sure them gloves are not tampered with, because that's what you get paid to do. When you about to fight someone, they always have someone go from another team go into the dressing room to go make sure everything is right. So somebody dropped the ball. Whoever went in the dressing room and didn't catch those gloves being the way they were, they dropped the ball, and that's how I look at it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I guess we had some cut men on the show, and it does seem. Once again, you're talking about other people's reputation, like Stitch, for instance. If Stitch is in your corner, people are thinking you got a good cut man. Everybody has a reputation when you get to this level. Your cut man has a certain reputation. Your second has a certain reputation. Your trainer has a certain reputation. Are you, when you make remarks like that? Are you throwing shade on the whole game of boxing? People already think that boxing is this sport that's ruled by uh, unethical people. So is this good for boxing when you have a former heavyweight champion that's rather than taking the responsibility for the loss, looking for somebody to point the finger at?
Man.
Yeah, I know that's a hard one. I know it.
Gosh, man, that is a question that. Okay, so my mind is going a thousand ways. So I want you to ask me the question in a different way.
Okay, all right. If when like you said, when you beat Vladimir, and how he diminished, it diminished you because he blamed, he said you had put something in his water or he was poisoned or something like that. So that diminished your victory. So does this, when you start blaming everyone else, first, my trainer shouldn't have thrown in the towel. The gloves were too spongy. Are you giving people that are critics of boxing, are you giving them bullets to bury your body? Are you defeating the purpose? Are you killing your sport despite your face?
I think that it really depends on the perception of the fan at the end of the day. Are you a fan of, or are you not? Because it's hard, man. It's really hard. I mean, like, there were a lot of people, like in my case, actually believed, and I heard it for years, that, oh, you like, I heard people actually say to me, yeah, you poisoned Vladimir. Like, huh? Like they said my brother, the dude in the green face. I mean, I just heard everything you could think of, man. And then it took 10 years before the truth really came out, and it came from Vladimir. Like, nah, man, he just beat me, but my pride at the time basically wouldn't allow me to admit that, and I understand that. And in the case of Mark Breland, he stopped that fight because he cared about that boy. If you stop a fight on somebody, especially because, first of all, Mark Breland was with him from day one, and for a guy like him to step in and stop it, it was for no other reason than he understood that he could come back and fight again another day. But I love this person enough, I care about him enough, that I don't want to see him continue taking more and more damage, because sometimes when you let a fight go on too long, a round or two too long, that's when a fighter gets mental damage. And I'm not going to say it's the case, but if you look at Jeff Lacey, when Jeff Lacey was fighting the dude from over there in Europe, and all they kept thinking was Jeff's left hook, Lacey was going to catch him with that one shot and knock him out. We don't care how bad he gets beat. No, we ain't going to stop it. We going to keep it going because he wants to keep it going. But they wasn't thinking about his best interest. They was thinking about how much money they could make if he knocked him out. And so there's the big difference. Are you in it for the love, or are you in it for the money? And it's apparent they were in it for the money, because it ruined Jeff Lacey, where he could never come back. He was never really, I don't think that he was the same after that fight, because he took such a beating. But in this case, and like other fights, it's right. It's a righteous call to stop a fight, because a fighter, we won't never say, oh, okay, I want to stop now, because our pride is on the line, our ego on the line, our mothers, our wives, our high school friends, our babysitters, everybody who ever knew us as champions are watching us. So we're not going to stop these fights. But a guy that really cares about you, he'll suck his pride up. He'll say, I know he'll probably be mad at me, but you know what? I got to be able to sleep with my decisions, because if he would have continued on, who knows, one or two more punches, you know what? It could have did more than just end the fight. It could have ended his life. It could be the difference between him being able to drink from a glass of water and drink from a glass of water with the bib for somebody helping you. You know what I mean? Slurring speech, motor skills. So you just never know, man. I think that Mark really made the best decision with just stopping that fight, because of the condition that he saw that his fighter was in. And at the end of the day, I hope that one day Wilder will realize that if that's the case, if that's all that is going on between them, man, I understand him being angry, but you got to look at it, man. Deontay Wilder, he's married to this television star. He's got this big name for himself, and he got all these knockouts. He got everything on the upside for him. So at the end of the day, the only thing he's really wrestling with is his pride, man, and his ego. But a guy like Breland, he's been to the top. He knows what money is. He's been on TV. He knows what movies are, all that. But he also knows what it is to care about somebody. And at the end of the day, we always have to make the right decision for those who won't make it for themselves, and that's what it comes down to.
Champ, what do you think about Lamon's comments?
Oh man, they've been talking about this glove thing for a minute. It done circus for a long time, and I agree with the champ. I agree with the champ. You got to you definitely have to protect your fighter at the end of the day, because Mark Breland, he understands. He is a former world champion. Let me rewind that. He's a former world champion, so he knows that you could be one hit away from losing your life. And we ain't talking about the middleweights, where middleweights and lightweights done got killed in the ring before. But we actually talk about the biggest of the biggest. It get no bigger than a heavyweight. And Tyson Fury is 6'9". Let me rewind that. 6'9". I sparred him, and he is a giant of a man. And he was sitting down his punches that day. Sugar Hill had him turn them shots over, along with, they say, the glove thing that was going on. So, hey, Mark Breland, to me, he did the right job.
But now, both of you are very biblical men. Both of you base your lives on the Bible. So, Champ, K9, pride goes before a fall.
And the Bible says, "Love your brother as you love yourself." And I know if I was in a situation where I am having difficulties in a fight, like when I fought Vladimir the second fight, there's no way I was going to quit. I I was rusty as heck. I've been off for like a year and 2 months.
Yeah.
I didn't get no tune-up fight. I was coming off being in the hospital, suffering from immense pain for a very long time. My wife had just had a baby. I mean, man, just everything, So in that fight, I was so rusty. My depth perception was off. I'm throwing punches at this guy, and I'm thinking I can hit him, but he's 10 feet away because of my depth perception. I didn't get a chance to be able to adjust to the eye surgery, which throws off your vision. So what Buddy McGirt decided to do, he decided to stop the fight in the six or whatever round he stopped the fight. But I cannot argue with this man. I'm trusting this man with my life. So when I go to the corner, I'm depending on him to try to help me to get this victory. But so if you're depending on somebody to help you to get a victory, you also have to depend on them enough to help you to take a defeat. So with the fact of when he was saying your eye is swelling, and this was the same I had the surgery, and I went through all this hell, which is why I lost my title. And he said, "Man, I'm going to stop this fight." What can I say? I love him enough, and I believe in him enough that he's going to make the right decision. But if he would have asked me, "Do you want to stop?" I'm going to always say no, because I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. That's what I do. So you have to have people around you that you got confidence in just as much as they have confidence in you.
What about that, Champ? Having confidence in the team around you. How about that? I mean, because I kind of think back to your fight with Charlo, and the fact that I think it was more you that wanted to go, that wanted that fight, and to prove you, like when I say pride, I think you wanted that fight a little bit more than your team.
I mean, no, I don't know. I don't agree, because the team, they wanted to fight too, because there's a lot of money involved. so I just think that I should have had
You
more of
knew
an
you was
experienced
hurt
team.
though.
I should have.
But you knew you was hurt though. You
Who?
knew that you was hurt when you went into that fight.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But I thought that even being hurt, as a fighter, I could get through it. I could still win.
See?
I'm
Yeah,
Superman.
see, there
I,
you,
I
there you
realized
go.
I'm not
See,
Superman. Superman has left the building.
see,
Yeah. Our
yeah,
guest, we got
yeah.
we got a guest that's on standby too. So, Regis he took.
Well, bring him in. I'm saying we got two champions here. Whoever he is, I know. Is it your guy,
Yeah.
Roy?
You said what now?
Was it Roy?
Regis Prograis.
Oh, is Regis? Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. Layman, we got Regis on the line.
He about to be.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, champ?
What's down, bro?
Hey, man, you live on a Dog Pound. We got Lamon Brewster, and we got James King, and we got myself and you, man. Congratulations on
That's
the
what's up.
victory.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Hey, James, go ahead and start it off, man. Talk to the champ. Or let Layman, let the other champ talk to the champ. Uh, Layman.
Regis Progress.
What's up, man? How you doing, champ?
Can you hear Regis?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
He can't hear Layman, though. I can't hear Layman.
I can hear him a little bit.
Go ahead, champ.
I can hear you.
I can't really hear those guys. I can't hear this group with Regis. I can barely hear.
He's probably coming through K9's phone, but I'm gonna try to get you guys a little bit closer. Regis, you just had a TKO. I mean, you had a knockout. Tell me, man, how do you feel getting back in the ring and making that big splash?
I mean, it felt good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've been out the ring for a whole year, so just to get back in there and get my feet wet again, it's just like it was just like a weight lifted off my shoulder, basically. You know what I'm saying? That was the main thing. It was just like I had a long October. I had a long layoff, but October was a real like stressful month for me, and I'm glad that I got to get back in the ring and do my thing, and everything is done now. So it's like a big weight lifted off my shoulder.
Can you hear him, Layman? He was talking about he had laid off for a year before he had this fight. I think all you guys kind of share that in common. What's it like for a fighter to be off for that long and then have to get back in the ring? In spite of the circumstances, I mean, you guys came back and you had live audiences. But Regis, when you're coming back during COVID. I know you had a small crowd there, but guys, can you kind of tell me what's that like on a fighter's body and his psyche being off that long?
Yeah, man. I mean, with the whole COVID thing, that was the crazy thing. Luckily, it was a. Huh?
Go ahead.
I was my bad.
Regis.
So yeah, luckily, we had a crowd, and it was good. They had a small crowd. I think it was like 10 or 11,000 people. So we had it was an okay crowd. It wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small at the same time. But yeah, man, the whole Corona thing, that been crazy. So I was just glad that I got back in there and and did what I had to do, and just basically got it over with. And it was a good night of boxing that night too. It was pay-per-view, Showtime, and it was a good night of boxing. So I was glad that I was a part of that.
Layman, what was it like for you coming back after a year? Even before Vladimir, you still had some lapses off, due to just physical ailments. So you've also been through those periods of layoff. What's it like to you? I mean, what's it like to you?
Well, for me, man, it was about keeping my mind engaged, because if you keep your mind engaged and keep your body in shape, it ain't gonna matter. Like for me, like when before I saw Vladimir the first time, I was off for a year and 4 months, but I was in the gym with the likes of Lights Out James Tony, Francois Botha. I was in training with Michael Moore, Frankie Lau. Like I'm sparring Francois Botha. I'm sparring with these guys every week for the whole year. So You couldn't get better work or better confidence than going to any fight, fighting with these great champions, man. So for me, it didn't hurt me because I knew when I came to the gym, I had to put up my best. So it kept my mind as a chess player continually staying sharp because it says iron sharpens iron, a man sharpens man. So for me, being in the gym with these guys, man, it was like it would have been a step down for me to do anything else other than that because I trained and in my mind I said, I don't care how long it takes. I'm in training camp. So my training camp wasn't a 2 month or 3 month camp. I had a year and 4 month training camp, and I gave myself rewards, man, in between the times. But I stayed hungry. And as long as the fighters stay hungry and his stomach stay sharp, because like I said, boxing with these great champions kept me ready, man. So when I got into the fight, I had already won because I won before the bell rung.
Kenan, uh, what was it like for you after being off for a year?
Uh, hey, it was tough. It was tough, but if I could do it all over again, I would fight at least every 6 months as a champion just to stay sharp. As you get older and you only fighting once a year and you fight against young lions up and coming, it could be bad for you. So it's best to try to stay busy. Let your body heal. To get right back in the gym after a win, and then fight as soon as you can to stay sharp and stay ready. You agree,
Regis,
Regis?
Yeah, of
what
course.
was it like
Yeah,
for you, Regis? I mean, you didn't have the great sparring due to the COVID, so your circumstances were probably somewhat different. What was it like for you? How were you able to get your sparring and your work in?
no, I mean, I still got my work in Brian. Like the whole year, I actually, so this whole time I was during the like the corona, the pandemic, I had a fight actually scheduled. I was in training camp, and then of course the corona happened, and then I was supposed to fight Maurice Hooker, and that did happen because of corona. And then after that, we were supposed to come back and fight, and the fight I was in training camp again for him, and the fight got scrapped because of the weight issue. I'm at 40, and he went up to 147. And then after that, I was in training camp for a fighter called Pablo Cesar Cano, and that fight didn't happen. And then after that, I had another fight, like a short notice, like a month fight they had for me, and that fight didn't happen. So I was in like 4 training camps throughout the whole Corona pandemic, and then finally they gave me this fight. So I was still busy and I was still getting it working. I was still sparring, so I kind of course, I know inactivity is like a death of a fighter. It's like one of the worst hindrances of a fighter. So I try to stay as busy as I possibly can. So I was still sparring. I was still doing a lot of stuff, and I try to stay as busy as I can. I didn't take a lot of long breaks. I didn't do, I just basically since the whole pandemic started, I was training.
Hey,
Uh,
Regis. Let me
Yo,
ask this question before it leave my brain. What's the difference between Lou DiBella as a promoter and Al Heyman as a advisor? I mean, what did you get out of both guys, and what do you feel like uh, Al Heyman could take you right now?
um, you know what? Let me choose my words wisely with that one.
Exactly.
So I mean, first off, man, I always thank Lou because Lou took a chance on me when nobody else would. I always, and I still talk to Lou DeBella. Even though we parted ways
Yeah.
as fighting promoter, I still talk to him. He still texts me. We still be on Twitter talking and all that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
Lou took a chance on me when nobody else would. I was 10-0 at the time with 8 knockouts, and Lou DeBella basically he picked me up when nobody else wanted me. I mean, no other promoter wanted me. They looked at me and turned their head. So I always would thank Lou DeBella for that, and I became a champion. I made a lot of money with Lou. I became a household name in the boxing world, and I became a champion. That's one of my first goals. So I will always be thankful to Lou for that. As far as Al Heyman goes, I feel like now For me, Al Heyman is like the godfather of boxing. You know, like he's just so big, and he's like this mysterious man. You only hear his voice, but you don't see him and stuff like that. But he's
Boogeyman.
like I said, he's just like the godfather of boxing. And
Yeah.
one thing, one of my first conversations was like, I want to be associated with you because I know that you take care of your fighters and you get them paid.
Yes.
And I kind of know the story about Al Heyman, because I know his brother Bobby Heyman was a fighter and he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. And
Wow.
they kind of
History.
yeah, history. I know I'm a historian, man, so I know things about it. So
That's good.
I know that um like I said, I know he fought Sugar Ray Leonard and they kind of mistreated him. He didn't like that about it. So he saw how they mistreated his brother, and he kind of that's why he wanted to kind of get into boxing. I think that's one of the reasons that he got into boxing. He wanted to treat the fighters, with respect, because of course, as history tells us, the most of the managers and promoters and advisors, they don't care nothing about the fights. They just care about getting paid, and they don't look at us as they don't look at the end of the day. That sometimes they don't look at us as people. They just they look at us like we're you know we just fighters, not people and a fighter, a person and a fighter. They look at us like we're only a fighter and we only like a basically like a money bag. So and Al Heyman, I feel like he doesn't look at his fighters like that. He takes care of them, and he gets them paid, and at the end of the day, that's what we want. So yeah, that's kind of I think and with this is just a different stage in my career, the next chapter in my career, and I'm glad that I'm a part of this now.
Uh,
Hey, the word that comes to my mind is Mandingo, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Layman, I know you know where I'm coming from with that one. But we want to thank you, Chan, for stopping by tonight. Layman, why don't you give us your social media and your final thoughts for tonight?
All right. Well, hey man, I just want to say thank you as always, guys, for having me on, man. Anytime I can, man, I would love to come and just be heard, man. That's one thing I always say. Champions never ever want to. Well, I can't say all, but I can say the majority. I can speak for myself. I don't ever want to be forgotten, man. I put on my everything I did with the hope that I could make the crowd feel like they got their money's worth, win, lose, or draw. And boxing changed my life. Boxing gave me a life. Boxing has taken me to heights that people will never ever be able to go. And so I say always support boxing because boxing is education. Because in order to be considered a good fighter, you have to be smart. And when people start learning boxing, they realize how difficult it is because there's so many things you have to remember. And that's mental. And it has to coordinate with your physical. And it has to resonate with your spiritual. So for me, boxing is education. Boxing is humble. Boxing is everything that I needed to be for my mentality. And it's kept me out of jail. It's kept me it's humbled me and it's helped me to be the best me that I can be and try to be a contributor to this world and to this future. So I say please always support this boxing thing, man, because there are so many people out here that are suffering from stress. So many people who don't know how to express themselves and they keep it in, it turns to cancer. But through boxing, they are able to let out that frustration, especially with this COVID going on. It's hard to get jobs, racism at an all-time high, and there's just so much going on in the world. But boxing is it's the purest form of expression because everything you're throwing with the thought of where it's coming from, that emotion that you're punching from. So please continue to support boxing. I thank you guys again. My name is Lamon Brewster, former heavyweight champion of the world. You can always follow me at just Lamon Brewster. So it's either Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And I keep it 100, man. And that's just who I am, and I'm always gonna be who I am. And if anybody don't like it, I love to fight. But with that being said, thank you again for having me on the show, guys. And I wish you much continued success. God bless.
All right,
Thank you,
brother.
Layman. You have a great night.
Cheers, champ.
Thank you,
Yeah.
baby.
Hey, so
Regis, Regis, I got a question for you because when you talked about Al Heyman being, kind of that guy in the shadows where you kind of hear him, but you never see him. But
Mm-hmm.
your nickname is Rougarou. I mean,
Right.
so is there a connection there or what?
Nah, I mean that's just a nickname, brother. I mean, Ruger supposedly that's a real thing. But nah, I don't know if it's a connection. Hopefully, it could be a good connection though.
So a lot of people don't know what Rougarou unless you're from that particular culture. They don't really know about Rougarou. You kind of you brought that to the forefront. So uh, was that something that was planned? Was this something that when you got to this stage that was you knew that this was going to be part of your legacy to separate like lights out Tony, so forth and so on. I mean, was this your intention?
Yeah, I mean, at first, no, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's just kind of the Ruger kind of grew basically. I remember for my 10th fight. I talk about my 10th fight with Lou Debella, but my 10th fight in Houston, I fought in Houston. And what happened was I came out with the Ruger mask. Mike Tyson was like always my favorite fighter of all time. So I always kind of wanted to come out with the no shirt on, just like Tyson. But I didn't want to do it like Tyson. So what I did was I came out with the Ruger mask with no shirt, and the crowd went crazy. And after that, I was just like, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be my ring walk, and it kind of just grew. It grew from there. That was my 10th fight, and now I got 25 fights. 26 fights I think I have now. So yeah, I got So that was a long time. It was years and years ago, but it kind of just grew, and it's keep growing. And now, of course, I can't. I love it. I love the nickname now.
yeah, yeah. I want to ask you, with that fight, I know that you and Adrian Bronner was going back and forth for a minute, and I was looking forward to you fighting that fight. How do you feel about a fight with Adrian Bronner, and what do you have to say about like what just happened with him being locked up? How do you stay out of trouble as a superstar?
Man, the motherfucker, he got to stay out of trouble, bro. That's the thing. Adrian Broner, bro, he gotta get it together, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know he got a lot of outside activities and stuff, and he just gotta be more smart, man. That's the main thing with him. He put something on Instagram. I think yesterday I just commented. I was like, bro, keep that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? He put something about his money and stuff and how he spend his money and all that. It's like, bro, like, you know, if I'm not mistaken, he's in trouble right now because of that type of stuff. He's in trouble because he owes some girl like $800,000, and he said that he doesn't have it, but he was online with money, So the judge saw it, and then they like, all right, what's going on? So I was just like, bro, keep that to yourself because people out here hating, bro. You know what I'm saying? People want your
Yeah,
spot.
so
People is going to hate on you. That's just how it is. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It's a lot. I remember because the model said to Mike Tyson, it's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, and
that's right.
they want to come after you, bro. They want your money. They want what you have. They preying on your downfall. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So you can't be putting that out to the world. It's energy and stuff like that. And if you look at me, I'm not a flashy person at all. All my friends, they be like, you should buy this, you should buy this, you should do this, you should do that. No, I'm not gonna do that, bro, because people prey on your downfall. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up, but it's a lot of people like that, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people like around him or not even around him, but they praying on him to fall. They praying on his downfall. So I mean, of course, I would love to fight. I think that I think it'll be a huge fight, and to be honest, I think it could happen. I think it will happen. Most likely like next year sometime it will happen. But he just got to stay out of trouble, bro. He got to stay out of trouble. Get healthy. Not saying get in shape and get healthy, get in shape and get a fight, and then I'll get a fight, and then me and him can fight after that, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
I would love to see that fight,
Oh man, me
man.
too.
But once again, Ruru, uh, sorry, I just that just came out. I like that nickname. But anyway, uh,
Ruru.
but I mean, sometimes there comes a time, when you can't fix stupid. Okay, and
Yeah.
Adrian's been through a whole lot. I mean, it's not like he just started in this game. As we kind of pointed out with our first guest, he made the mistake of losing his identity to begin with. He wanted to be the next Floyd. He didn't want to be Adrian Broner. He didn't want to be AB. He wanted to be Little Floyd.
Right.
You want to be your own man.
I want to
Absolutely.
So
be
I
the
mean,
truth. I want to be the yeah, exactly.
I
My
have more
dog.
faith in you than I have in a person like Adrian Broner because it, it seems like he has a weak mind. He still he doesn't want to progress. He's still, like you say, flashing his money on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. And bro, you got legal problems. You have to think before you do that. So I would love to see him fight for you because Adrian Broner puts butts in seats and he brings huge purses. So for that reason, I would love to see you fight Adrian Broner. But other than
Absolutely.
that, I think it's kind of a waste of your time. I mean, it'll definitely increase your bank account, but
Absolutely.
if you beat Adrian Broner, is he gonna pull, like everybody else is doing now? Well, uh, Rougarou put a spell on me the night before, or
Yeah,
he put some tacks in my shoes. I mean,
right.
just some kind of dumb stuff. You say you try to keep clear of that stuff, but sometimes, in order for you to advance your career, do you have to fight a clown?
Do I have to fight what?
A clown. In other words,
I mean, you know what?
somebody that that you're better than them, but in order for you to get to that next rung in the ladder, they're the next obstacle for you to go through.
I mean, you know what? I mean, I think Agent Ron, the thing is, I give him more credit than a lot of people give him. You know what I'm saying? He still was at the end of the day, he still was a four division champion. So
Absolutely.
that's not an easy thing to do. He is, his outside activity and stuff like that. I think he still could be a top fighter in the world, but he has to get it together on his outside life. He has to be serious about boxing. Basically, I don't think he takes it serious. I think, but at the end of the day, I don't think for me, if I ever do get that fight, if we ever do get that fight, I'll take it very very seriously because
Yeah.
I mean he still is Adrian Broner. Like, he still could be dangerous. Like I said, at the end of the day, he was a champion at 130, 35, 40, and
Yeah.
47. So he's a
Absolutely.
he still is an elite fighter. That's a hard thing to do. I mean, he was a four division champion. So it's not just a four-time champion. He was a four-division champion, So I think that's a hard thing to do, and I still would respect him no matter what. If we fight or not, I still will respect him. But I just think that he just, yeah, like I said, man, I think he just got to get it together. He just got to, just get some things together and maybe get some other people around him or whatever. Just get it together, bro.
Yep. Yep. Words from a real champion. Don't kick a man when they down. So you a real one. And I definitely appreciate you coming on the show at the last minute. A lot of fighters, after a big win like you just recently had, we talking about you just fought Saturday. They normally
Right.
be up. They normally turn their phone off. They ain't trying to have no conversations. They just trying to rest and get away from the sport. I know a lot of
Right.
basketball players in the NBA. They love kicking it with me because they don't talk about basketball. They want to talk about boxing. They want to get away from that. And after a hard fight, or even after a hard training camp, because the fight wasn't hard, you made it
Fight
easy.
was hard, brother. I ain't get hit at all. I ain't get touched in the fucking fight.
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
ain't get touched in the fight. The fight was very easy. But yeah, bro, I had a hard training camp.
Thank you.
I ain't turned my phone off yet, but I gotta travel in a little while. And once I start going out the country, yeah, my phone it'll be hard to reach me and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, bro, I mean, this training camp was really hard.
yeah,
I mean, the difference with this training camp was like I live like a fighter supposed to live.
yeah,
Like I was. I don't know if people know, but I was living in LA. I moved out there for a year. I
yeah.
was living out there. but I ended up coming back to Houston. I'm actually in Katy, Texas, and just to be around my trainers and stuff like that, because my success always been that I lived in training camp.
Yeah.
I was always my success. I lived it. I lived this
Yeah.
life. I lived in training camp. So,
Yeah.
and when I lived in LA, I lived on vacation. I loved it out there, and I still do love LA. I just loved everything about LA, and once I retired, that's why most likely I probably end up on the West Coast, either on the west, either all the way on the West Coast or all the way on the East Coast in Florida. But something
San
like that. I
Diego,
love the
bro.
water. I love the
San
water.
Diego.
Huh?
Come to San Diego. If you love LA, come to San Diego.
I'll be somewhere where the water, where nice weather and water and beaches. That's what I love. I love that type of stuff. So, but anyways, when I was out there in LA, I lived on vacation, and out here, it's just all serious. It's all business. It's all serious, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been working my ass. I was training 3-4 times a day, every single day except Sunday. Sunday was my only off day, my only rest day, but every day training 3-4 times a day. And I was just killing myself, because I just sacrificed, and I live like a fighter, basically. Out here in Texas, I go to the gym, and I come home, I'll eat, mess around my kids a little bit, then I'll take a nap, and then get up and train again, and then do something, and then train again. And
Wow.
that was every single day. I was living like a fighter. It wasn't nothing else. It's just that was it. It was only training. So I sacrificed a lot, and I'm glad it paid off. And just on to the next now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we don't definitely want to hold you up, man. I'm just happy you came on. I know you got a lot of stuff you got to do, man. I'm gonna let you get your rest. Like I say, I appreciate you for coming on, man, at the last minute like that. You're a real one of the very few real ones that we have in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So you keep up the good work. I'll be tapping in with you, checking in with you. And give your people, your fans, man, your social media, anything you want to say. Any final thoughts?
Um, yeah, man, my social, I ain't gonna talk like Lamon Brewster did, but yeah, my social media, bro, is at my Instagram is at Regis Prograis. My Twitter is at R Prograis. And that's it, bro. I mean, I think everybody all the pay per view, Showtime. We had a good night. It was a good card, and I can't wait to be back.
All right.
Hey, we appreciate you, my man. Thank you
No
so much
problem,
for
brother.
coming on
Have
the
a good
Dog
one.
Pound.
All right,
All
champ.
right.
Roo, roo.
All right.
All right, my guy.
Bet.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
K
Yeah. So Jake.
K9, you come through tonight, my man. You got Rougarou, man. I
Hey.
think that's only the second time we've had him on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Champs mess with champs. You know how I go. Hey, I'm about to call Ron now, so we can go ahead and get him on. And he can promote the fight, man. Cause the fight this weekend. So I'm gonna go ahead and get him on. See what we talking about.
Yeah. I got to talk to Ron to find out who you fight.
uh,
Like I said, I got to call Santa Claus to find out what's under my Christmas tree.
what's the gift? Yeah.
You have reached the voicemail
Uh-oh,
box.
he just sent me to the voicemail. Well, he'll call back. Yeah. But yeah, Roof, man, hey, Regis here, a real one, bro. I respect him a whole lot. He keep it 100. He kept it 100, and he gonna be a problem for a lot of fighters.
Oh man, hey, and he's another one.
Yeah.
Like he said, he didn't get touched uh, during the fight, and he took care of his business. So, uh, hey, there's nothing that you can say that about it. I mean, he said he had a good training camp. It showed that he had a
Yeah.
good training camp, and he keeps his head on straight. So, what's more to say?
Yeah. You right. No, you right. Yeah, you. Go ahead, one. Yeah, yeah. Man, listen. He had listen. The fight is won in the gym, and he told you he was training 3 times a day. I mean, you can overtrain by training 3 times a day if you don't do it the right way. But he young, he got away with it. He did the right things, and it paid off. That's why the fight was easy. Yep, yep. Hey,
I'm on the outside. I don't think no fight is easy.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Because like I said, I'm
yeah,
just thinking about another guy getting paid to hit me. I'm
yeah,
like, look
yeah,
here, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nah,
A lot of the fans are the people that's watching the show. They saying, good setup, man. We doing pretty good, and respect to the chat. So I just wanted to let you know that we have Ruther. He out there where you at. He said, man, tell JK he respects you for the fact that you serve too, man. So he said much love, and so respect to
I see,
everybody that's tuning in, and
yeah, I
man,
see Jose Camacho,
yeah,
dogs in the chat.
that's right, pit bulls, yeah, absolutely. Even old lions
Yeah,
eat too, right? Yeah.
put up a little, can we put up a little chat next time, and maybe while some of the fighters in there, we can answer some of the fans back.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that next time. I just wanted to, get it started. You know what I'm saying? Get it started. We're gonna actually start having the guests actually on here too, where we can actually talk side by side to each other. I just wanted to get me and
Yeah,
you started first.
yeah. Well, see, that's one thing about you being a champ. See, you got that Apple thing over there, man. So champs supposed to have championship material.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't see, you the champ, and you got a Hyundai. I mean, hey, you buy that for your son for his graduation.
yeah.
But the old man drive the Mercedes. You know how that go. Come
Ah,
on.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, can we go? Let's go to the dog pound because I got something I gotta do at 11. At 11 o'clock on the nose. Let's hit the dog pound right now.
Yeah, we waiting for your man, not mine. So hey,
Yeah, he
come
might
on
have to.
with it.
Hey, he might have to miss this one because I did call him. He had to miss it. But the fight will be this Saturday. I can do his job and my job. A lot of fighters do that now anyway. The promoters ain't gotta promote no more. All they do is go on social media and let the fighters promote it. Right. So
What's up, Big Red?
absolutely, Big Red in the building. He a dog too, man. Listen, that young man is all right. Yeah, we gotta have him on the show one day too, though, because I actually went live with him before, but you definitely gotta have him on the show. But yeah, let's hit the dog pound, man. Listen, on the dog pound, let's hit K9's corner.
What's nothing with the corner there? Come on with it. We got to
Oh
get.
man.
We got to find some. We got to incorporate us some music in here. I got to find a way to get us some music. But yeah,
Hey,
what's happening with K9's corner? Come on with
man,
it.
listen, man. At K9's corner, hey man, listen. It ain't over till the fat lady sing. So at 47 years old, what I'm saying, people probably question, man, K9, you getting back in the ring at 47? I remember I was only in my 30s, my early 30s, and they were like, man, K9, you too old to be boxing. You still boxing? And I won my first world title at the age of 37. And then turned around and won a second world title at 41. And then, you look up now, in 2020, and you got Mike Tyson at 54 years old finna step in the ring with Roy Jones, who is 51. On top of that, we talking about 10, 15 years ago, George Foreman got in the ring at 45 years old and won a world title. Won a world title and knocked out Michael Moore. And Michael Moore was in his 20s. So, and look at you for yourself. What you like, 71, 72? Look how sharp you are. You remind me of Emmanuel Stewart and Don King. Don King, I'll talk anybody. So, age ain't nothing but a number, man. It ain't over to the fat lady scene. And this Saturday, I'm going to put some work in. And I know my opponent is eavesdropping because he been on my page. His daughter been talking about some, my daddy going to beat K9. Hey, listen. Just because of her, I ain't gonna kill a man, but I am gonna finish him. At K9 boxing, yeah, dog pound in the building. Let's go, JK.
So
One love, my
what you
bro.
trying to say? What you
Huh?
trying to say? This ain't no exhibition, son.
Oh, this ain't no exhibition. No, hard work. It's easy work when you put that work in. Yeah,
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna send this out here with. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm gonna put on some Pandora and let's get up out of here. How's that work?
Oh man, put
You
some
say,
on. Give me some beat. Give me some dogs barking or something if you can. Arr, 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 arr. Yeah, with a beat.
let's see.
I want a freestyle. Go ahead and freestyle.
Here we go. Let's see what
Hard
this is.
times is coming to our town.
All right, champ. Well,
Yeah.
let's get
Yeah.
up out of here,
Hey,
man.
you know what? Yeah, we might have to be careful. We might have to be careful with what music we put on too, because then you might not be able to monetize it. So be real careful, because if anybody donate, you won't get nothing. I won't get nothing if it's some copyright.
Well, hey, that's the reason why I had my other music, and
Yeah.
it was a family member that wrote it, so I didn't have to worry about that. See,
Yeah, we have music next week. We have just beatbox.
yeah,
Let me see you beatbox.
there
Make sure
you
your
go.
teeth don't come out.
See, there you go.
Hey.
All right. See, that's why that little that little girl see you. See, God don't like ugly. There you go.
I'm messing with you. You know you my guy. You know you my guy. Hey, look, I done had to get mine fixed before too, so we're in the same game to a certain extent. Hey,
All right, boss. I'll see you
right,
next
baby.
week,
Good night,
man. You have a
man.
good one.
Yeah,
All
appreciate
right,
you, and
boss.
thank y'all for tuning in. K9 Boxer, Dog Pound, the Pugilist Corner. Hey, let's get it. Arr, 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 arr.